Hello everybody and welcome to another Town of Salem guide video. This is going to be, I've been asked to do this a couple times, so I decided to finally sit down and get this done. This is going to be a guide video on the short phrases and terms that we use in Town of Salem that might be confusing to you guys. So this is very important for newer and beginning, even maybe early intermediate players. If there's some terminology that people are saying that you don't know or aren't aware of, this is a good video for you to check out. And if there's anything that you guys hear a lot that I don't cover in here, let me know in the comments below. Just leave a comment right there, and I'll make sure that I or somebody else in the community will get back to you and make sure that you know exactly what it is that we're talking about in the game. So I want to preface this real quick by saying I'm not going to talk about the shorthand shortcuts for roles such as BG for bodyguard, because they're pretty self-explanatory, and some of these will be self-explanatory, but otherwise I think this is important to know for new players if you're trying to understand the terminology and words that we use in the game. So I'm going to save the most important one and the most commonly asked one for last. So if you're waiting for that one, if you're waiting to know what CC means, you're going to have to wait until the end, or skip to the end if you know the rest of these. So, and then going through the rest of them, just real quick, in terms of when we're going through and we're asking for people's names, sometimes people won't claim a role, and they'll claim like I'm TP, or I'm TS, or I'm TI, or I'm TK. And so TP means town protective, and it means you're claiming a role that fits into the town protective category. TS means town support, TI means town investigative, and TK means town killing. So for example, a Vigi or a vet may claim town killing instead of claiming what their actual role is, and it might be done on purpose sometimes just to keep Mafia from or the evil roles from necessarily knowing where you are, or it could be done in a way that's trying to allow for a different claim. Like an evil role could claim TP if they don't know yet if they want to claim doctor or bodyguard, etc. So those guys you'll see quite often. I claim TP, TS, TI, TK, etc. And it is important to know those. Those are pretty basic. You need to know like that N1, N2, N3, etc. means night 1, night 2, night 3. So in people's wills, you might see N1 dash and then a name and then a result if they're a TI, town investigative player, etc. So the N just stands for night, and the number right by that means what night it was that they're referring to. Execute. So if you hear somebody saying X this person, X that person tonight, jailer, X this person, that means that they're requesting that the jailer jail and execute that person because they believe that person to be evil. Of course, the jailer doesn't have to listen, but if you hear somebody saying in terms of X this one, X that person, then you know what it is they're referring to. And again, some of these guys are really simple and you'll know them, and some of them you might not. So trans, if you see somebody claiming that they were trans last night, trans, that means that they were transported. They were switched with another person via the work of a transporter. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it is important to know because it could result in a difference in terms of investigative results and other things such as that. Lynch. So lynch should be fairly obvious. Lynch means that lynch this person, lynch that person, this person should be lynched, etc. Means that person, somebody is claiming that somebody should be put up on the stand and then subsequently hung if they can't be proven with their defense to be innocent. So INNO. INNO is another shorthand, and INNO is shorthand for innocent. So I believe this person is INNO, or INNO this, is meaning that the person wants everybody to vote innocent instead of guilty on the person that's on the stand. And so it's just shorthand basically for innocent. VFR. VFR means vote for role. And vote for role is not something that I personally agree with, but some people really think it's a viable way of playing the game. I kind of don't. I think it hurts town more than it helps, but VFR means vote for role. And it's a request basically that town votes on somebody in a random order or in the order of numbers to put them up on the stand and force them to claim a role. And of course, when you claim a role, that means that if somebody asks you like role, R-O-L-E, role, question mark, that means that they're wanting you to claim what it is your role is. And if you're evil, you might want to fake claim a role that is town. But they want you to claim a role so that they can kind of make a dialogue about it. But VFR means vote for role. It's not something that I agree with, but you probably will see it, especially if you're in ranked practice. In Classic, you probably won't see that at all. Role blocked, R-bead. All right, so R-bead is weird because if you see somebody go, I was R-bead last night, R-B apostrophe D is what it would look like. That means they were role blocked. So shorthand for that. And it means that they were visited either by a consort or by an escort last night. Now, this is an important thing to know, of course, because it kind of indicates what event may have happened to that person that night, and it can lead to a dialogue that could eventually lead to finding out some good information. you used to see a word called doused. You won't see that anymore, though, or you typically won't see that anymore. Doused is what would happen when an arsonist doused somebody in gasoline during the night. The person would be alerted that they were doused. They'd wake up the next day and say, I was doused. But you won't get that anymore because dousing now is not, the person who's doused is not alerted unless they are actually another arsonist. And I think I covered most of the ones here, so now we're going to get to the big one, guys. This is the one that you hear a lot of. And there's a couple of things like fake will. If you don't know what a fake will means, basically is it's a will that is, it's when you create a will that is not true, and you try to use that. If you're an evil role, you use that to try to prove that you're town. And there's also, of course, forged. And if you hear forged, that means that, like, oh, that person must have been forged. That would mean that the person, that a mafia role called a forger used their ability on that person, deleting or altering their will, forging their will, so to say. And those guys are, again, pretty self-explanatory. But the big one, and the one that's kind of hard to understand, is CC. So what does CC means? ICCTP. I counterclaim. CC means counterclaim. And what does counterclaim mean? You would probably want to ask. Counterclaim is what you do when you are claiming the same role or the same genre of role as the person that is currently up on the stand. So if somebody, let's say that there's room for one town protective in the role list. There's one TP in the role list, right? It could be doctor, it could be bodyguard, etc. So, and then somebody gets put up on the stand and they claim, I'm doctor, but you're also doctor. Well, that means you counterclaim them. They say, I'm doctor, and you go, oh, hold on a second, ICC, I counterclaim. I am also the TP role or the TP alignment. And so when you see ICC, that means that person is basically calling you a liar. Maybe not a liar necessarily, but they're saying whatever you claim, I am also claiming that. Now, of course, if somebody claims doctor and you're the bodyguard, you still CC that, but you would say ICC TP. That means I counterclaim the town protective role area. And it's really important to understand the role list before you guys get really into playing, especially ranked game. You really have to understand the role list because the role list is basically how you're going to form your opinions on whether or not somebody is lying or telling the truth. Because if there's only room for one doctor in the town, according to the role list, and you're the doctor or the bodyguard, there's only room for one town protective, doctor, bodyguard in the town, and you're one of those two, and somebody else gets put on the stand and they claim it, you have to counterclaim them. You have to say, wait a second, you can't be the doctor because I am the bodyguard. I CC you. I counter your claim. And that's the really important one, guys. So CC is super important. You're going to hear that a lot, especially in higher levels of play. And the rest are kind of almost self-explanatory for the most part, except for maybe RB'd. Anyway, that's the majority of the ones that I was able to think of, that are common. There might be some that are less common, but those are the ones that you're pretty much guaranteed to run into. Some of them are very self-explanatory, and some of them, like CC'd, are not. So I hope I could help a little bit here. And if you have any questions as to any other things that you hear very commonly in the game, let me know in the chat below, or in the comment section below, and I'll make sure that either I or somebody else in our community answers that and gets you the information that you guys need. So again, we're trying to make sure that everybody plays as best they can. The better the people play in the game, the more fun the people tend to have. So hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy this video, if you found it helpful, please go ahead and leave a like and leave a comment down below. I really do appreciate that, and YouTube also appreciates that. It helps us get in front of more people. Getting in front of more people means that more people know more things. More people knowing more things means that we have better games. So, and if you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I really encourage you to do that. I have a lot of Town of Salem and other really good gameplay and content videos out there. I would definitely appreciate seeing you here a little bit more often. So make sure you subscribe and have notifications for this channel turned on. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And most importantly, as always, peace out.